Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to do the point of no return for movie franchises. Which is,
Yeah. Some of them it was in their first movie. We'll leave those poor victims alone.
I was gonna, yeah, it was. This was a really interesting one because the amount I was just like, it's either the last one or it's like really close to the start. That it's just like, I don't want to feel like I'm just hanging, like just hurting franchises or something.
Mercy. Mercy will be shown. Not an
Mhm.
awful lot of mercy, but some mercy will be applied.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Maybe.
So I so yeah, so the idea for this is that we're going to be going through some of the most famous franchises, which is that we have picked, and essentially choosing a film that is either the turning point or the point of no return, in which the franchise is soured or turned bad or whatever you want to say, kind of thing. It's but
Yeah.
we will
Where it
be.
loses its way and where it can never find its way again. Because that point of no return is the part I'm most excited to talk to Paul about. Simply because we haven't done a pre-show for this one, by the way, folks, which is why I'm really dying to get into hearing why he's going to pick some of the things he may pick.
Yeah,
And similarly for me, I guess.
I think yeah, because we just shared the franchise's name. We didn't share anything else, kind of thing. So that's the interesting part. So I'm
Mm.
going to kick it over to our normal, which goes show screen kind of thing,
Oh, yes.
which goes. I'll start with one of my ones just so that we can kick it off and also get used to the kind of idea
Mm.
of the thing. So um, the Hannibal uh, film series, so or franchise, which is or Silence of the Lambs, as many people will know it as. So it starts with Manhunter, which a lot of people don't realize because
Mm.
that's uh, that's actually the first movie that Doctor Hannibal Lecter actually shows up in. And I
Good bit of
know,
pub trivia there, folks. I've asked that one as a pub quiz question.
yeah, which is so. So yeah, so I do accept it as the as part of it. I know a lot of people say that Silence of the Lambs is the first one in the series, but it isn't. This is the first time the Doctor. It's like Jack Ryan. You know how he
Oh,
keeps
clear and present danger, or yeah.
Red October, like Hunt
Oh,
for Red
yeah. Good point.
October. You know that. So he's
Yeah, yeah.
because it's Ben
I can't
Affleck.
remember which one of those even came first.
I think it's Red. I think we've discussed this on a passing. I think it's
Okay.
Hunt for Red October,
All
which is
right. So
Alec
Alec
Baldwin.
Baldwin got in there first.
I think so. It's Alec
Nice.
Baldwin. I think then Harrison Ford plays him twice. Then
Then Ben
Ben
Affleck
Affleck,
for a bit.
and then Chris Pine. I think.
Oh yeah, Chris Pine. Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
kind
There
of
you
things.
go.
So yes, this is the first in the series. Now, I the turning point for me is essentially the third one, which is Hannibal. So Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, great movies, really good. Hannibal is the third in the series, which is essentially that after Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, spoilers, has escaped and is now in Italy doing his thing, kind of thing.
Doing
But
his thing. That's a great way to describe brutal cannibalism and
this is
stuff.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
He hasn't for a while. It's he's
Oh, it's
essentially
good of him to
seen.
take a break.
Yeah, exactly. He's checking art and doing that. He's like looking at the art and kind of music and stuff like that. He does end up eating, I think, one of the viol. No, that's a different one. That's the one that I think is really bad. So Hannibal. So the reason I choose this as the turning point is because this is very much out of out. There's a lot of points that are out of Hannibal's character's kind of nature, which goes, and it's also where the director and which goes the film kind of strays away a lot more from the books than originally they've done in the past, kind of thing. So there's some choices between Hannibal and Clarice, which is also she's also recast.
Julianne Moore.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, which goes, and Julian Moore's like all right in it, but oh well. Um,
Mm.
But yeah, so it's the problem with this is that Hannibal no longer becomes Hannibal. He's now essentially a different person. He still has Hannibal qualities, but he's not the same character. And Clarice isn't also the same character. She does they've played up a kind of like secret attraction between the two of them for quite a while in the series, and then it's not like it feels like it's it's going one way and then it doesn't and that kind of thing. So the turning point is Hannibal anyway, and then the kind of the point of no return for me in the Hannibal series is Red Dragon, which is the
I
next
knew it
film.
was gonna be. I could have guessed Red Dragon early on actually.
Now my deepest condolences to this movie because it's actually got a fantastic cast, but it is set 11 years into the past, and Anthony Hopkins isn't Keanu Reeves. He doesn't look the same 11 years ago that he did. So like, it kind of takes you out of the movie and stuff, and also it feels more like Silence of the Lambs again, where Hannibal is essentially just a side piece more to the main story. And I know that happens a lot in the books and stuff, but there's a lot more interaction with characters and stuff in the books. So that's my problem with the Hannibal kind of series. Hannibal, like, he doesn't look young. He doesn't look like he did in Silence of the Lambs even. And that's meant to be set. That as I said, it's meant to be 11 years before Silence of the Lambs. He doesn't look he doesn't look as good. At
And
all.
do you know, weirdly for me, it's I thought you were going to go with the prequel nature of it all,
With this,
as part of that kind of. Uh, I know film franchises based on books. It's kind of tough to say there's a point of no return because if you have all these books, you can jump left, right, and center. But as a movie franchise, it didn't feel like a positive move for me. It was like, yeah, I think I'm probably done with Hannibal movies now. I think this character has had its time on screen. And then, of course, Mads Mikkelsen does TV, which is a different story. But big movies, I was like, I think I'm done.
what is the thing? I do agree that kind of jumping back in time was a poor decision, which goes because it is it's kind of weird to go back in time because then the next movie is Hannibal Rising, which is even further back, in time, but at least it doesn't have Anthony Hopkins in it anymore because they can't make him become a teenager. So like, yeah, it is. I guess the crux of the thing is that it is the fact that it's a prequel and they can't turn back time on Anthony Hopkins, sadly enough. But it is the kind of, yeah, it's the turning point in the sense that they've chosen to go back in time, and even though with a fantastic cast, and I quickly do see that in the comments, pop culture, it is a slight remake of of Manhunter. Kind of, it takes on a lot of aspects of the Manhunter series or Manhunter movie, but it isn't it's kind of a new story because it's a new person kind of.
It's a mashup of taking parts of one and adding in its own, which, again, not picking on for that. I think, look, Hannibal's an interesting franchise to start on because it's maybe one of the more complex ones. And I know for some of the things we're going to bring up tonight that particularly aren't based on any literary works or any existing IPs, it's not all our opinions are not necessarily going to be good movie, bad movie, good movie, bad movie. It's about, when did you start feeling that maybe they'd started going far enough, or you were worried about where they were going to go next? And then when did you start feeling, yeah, if they make any more, I'm just not really going to be bothered. That's the point of no return in a lot of ways. It's not that it's the worst movie in the history of time. Has it left you with I think my time here is done.
Yeah, yeah. It's the fart in the room kind of thing where you're just like, oh, I gotta leave now. Yeah, no, like Red Dragon's not a bad movie. It's very good. Like the cast is fantastic, but yeah, it is the movie that I was just like, I think I'm done here. I think I've had enough of seeing the.
I just spotted a fun comment, by the way, from pop culture as well. No de-aging technology back then for Hopkins. Yeah, I was thinking when you said, oh, they couldn't make him a teenager. I'm like, tell Martin Scorsese that he'll Irishman the hell out of it and try and de-age people to being infants eventually. A few other comments though, Paul. Gavin says, hey Gavin, Manhunter is underrated. Brilliant film. Bruce says watch the first two, not watched any after that. And then some people are saying some stuff that is being deleted. That's all grand. But just to call back to the Jack Ryan real quick, pop culture, you put in the correct order. Thank you for that. And also mention that you got Hunt for Red October on 4K today, 4K digital today. It is a great movie. There's never a bad time to watch Hunt for Red October. Never a bad time. unless you're actually looking for Russian accents from Scottish men. But that's then there's never a good time to watch Hunt for Red October. But no, it's a cracker. So enjoy that.
It is a great movie. Can't like, I always like the ending parts. It's just a fantastic movie. So yeah, it's really really good. So Patrick, where would you like to go for your?
Oh, tell me, pick whatever is the top of your list there, because I don't know. I gave Paul a lengthy list. I don't know what you have or haven't included. Is it from the
It's from the
short list?
Yeah.
Then I have to pull out that short list. Paul, pick one and I'll do it.
Die Hard. Let's go for the first one.
Die Hard. Let's go. Let's go straight to a classic. Die Hard, folks. You were expecting me to say that the only good one was the first one and that it all went wrong and things started looking iffy when they went to an airport. No, not going to say that. Or I started having concerns when they were vengeancing themselves around New York. Nope, love that one too. I'm not even going to say, and this is where people are going to expect me to go, I started getting worried around the fourth one. Au contraire, mon frere. I was actually quite happy with the fourth movie. Everybody hates that movie. I think if you take Die Hard sequels as a whole, Die Hard 4.0, 4.0, whatever you want to call it, the fourth one with Justin Long, with Timothy Olyphant, and most importantly with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's always awesome. I thought it was a good John McClane movie. In fact, I would nearly say it's one of the better John McClane movies in some way for John McClane-ness. Overall story, whatever you want to say, but John McClaney, if I can coin that, McClaney-ness, it was pretty damn good. For me, my worry and my point of no return hit simultaneously. And it was around, I'd say, 7 minutes into Die Hard 5, A Good Day to Die Hard, where I realized that Bruce Willis was just going to make movies. This was not a Bruce Willis, I'm really happy to be back as whatever. This was more like I owed my friends a favor and I will do this thing that was scripted by amateurs, shot by college students, and CGI'd by Commodore 64, if anybody remembers that. Like, and I'm not even going to pick on Jai Courtney, which everybody expects, because I pick on him regularly. And as far as I'm concerned, he's big enough to kill me. I love you, Jai, but I do pick on you as long as you can't hear, because I'm not massively impressed with your body work. I'm sure you're a lovely dude. You've had great moments. This is not one of them. I'm purely concentrating on the fact that this movie was rubbish. It wasn't John McClaney even. It wasn't a good or a bad story. On every measurable category, A Good Day to Die Hard is a bad movie. And what's worse than that, they had managed it 4 times to make Die Hard movies and not completely push it to a point where I'm like, nah, I'm never watching any of these. They're just cash-ins. Like the second or the fourth one could easily have knocked me off. They didn't. This one, way before halftime, I was out. Like I was ready to just drop. What do you think, Paul? Are you going to defend A Good Day to Die Hard and blow my wig clean off?
No, God, no. God, no. I'm not even gonna. No, like
not even as a joke.
If you were there, if you would killed. I would dare to double tap the like A Good Day to Die Hard. Like it was very bad. I will agree that it is the nail in the coffin for the Die Hard, moments. I will slightly that the shaky ground for me is Die Hard 4. I do enjoy it a lot more than
it's the Kevin Smith basement stuff, isn't it? As
No,
much as we
actually-
both love Kevin Smith.
Actually, it's Kevin Smith and that whole it's more like I enjoy the kind of jokiness of John McClane not being really kind of techie in a techie world kind of thing, and doing it kind of in an analog setting, kind of like solving problems in an analog way. If I was coining the phrase, it's just that it just had elements within it that just made me shake, maybe kind of go. Okay, we're no longer we're now in Die Soft and then A Good Day to Die was like, oh, it's dead. They've just killed us. This is awful. Because I agree. Because you gave me some imagery to kind of show your points and stuff like that, and one of them is the One of
Oh,
them is
this was specifically just how little care and attention is done with the CGI.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like it is pretty bad.
It
Like
feels like a budget movie in every sense. It felt straight to video. We've got Bruce Willis. He said yes. It's the sort of stuff he's now making. You know the way Bruce Willis has now made like 20 films you haven't seen because you have more sense than to see them. Same as me, I hope. Because someday I'll give in and start watching a few of them. This felt like it was one of those, not a Die Hard. It's like this felt like a Bruce Willis on a streaming service near you movie.
it's that one. There's that new film that everybody really loves, and it's got it's a sci-fi film with Bruce Willis in it. And yeah, people are loving it, and it's real low budget, which isn't a problem. I don't have a problem with low budget. Like me and Patrick kind of say that if you can do low budget really well, it can be better than some of the high budget ones.
Yeah.
This one isn't that to me. It's very much feels like it's like Bruce Willis is essentially following Nicolas Cage's kind of like probably original idea, which is scattergun himself across as many movies as he possibly could, and now he's doing Nick Cage movies, which is what he needs to do. So
Pop Culture says is it called Apex by any chance?
I think it is.
There you go. Well, actually, I should call out we have some very, very select guests with us tonight. We've got Gavin, we've got Brew, we got Colin, who I'm going to out you as misspelling your own handle because we've talked about it before. And Pop Culture 33, by the way, good time to plug Pop Culture 33 nice and early. New video went up yesterday. I've in fact watched it twice because I watched it on my phone first, Pop Culture, sorry, and my phone is just terrible audio, so I threw you on the TV in the evening. Because I'm old. I can't watch things on small screens and hear them badly. But a few of the comments here. Oh dear God, A Good Day to Die Hard. It was the last movie myself and the son went to together. Saw A Good Day to Die Hard in a theater. I almost asked my money back. So I think we are all in agreement. A Good Day to Die Hard is rubbish. But if you're looking for other good movies, Die Hard with a Vengeance, then Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 4 are also pretty good. So you just never have to watch the fifth one. It's easy. Just don't ever watch it if you never have.
It's just it just doesn't exist. No. It doesn't exist, Patrick.
It doesn't exist, exactly. And Gavin quickly got in there before while you were pulling up the next one. Vengeance could have gone badly wrong by using the brother as the villain, but thank God it didn't. I agree with that comment. Mm-hmm. I don't think it went wrong at all. And it really easily could have. So fair play to them, yeah.
I do enjoy I do enjoy Vengeance quite a lot, but I do see that there could have been there's a lot of moments there that I was just like, okay, cool. Yeah, you know, kind of like you're taking sharp in breaths of kind of going, are they going to pull this off? They pulled it off. Cool, great.
They landed it. They did land it. It was a windy, scary day flying, but my God, did they land it well?
Yeah.
Although that metaphor would have worked better for the second movie. Anyway, so what's up next, Paul?
So I'm going to go into a beloved sci-fi horror franchise that we have talked about a lot in this. It is the Alien franchise. So, So the Alien franchise. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, very good, very good.
So the Alien franchise. I am including everything in this one, not the Predators, but the Predators versus Aliens. I am including because it's AVP and not PVA.
So okay, fair enough. Top billing to the Alien.
That's why so top billing towards the Alien. So that's why I'm going for that. But this is this Aliens 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien versus Predator 1, Alien versus Predator Requiem, Prometheus Resurrection. So we all love this. Me and Patrick have gone on a lot about the films and stuff. My turning point, surprisingly enough, the amount of times that I've said I actually like this movie, is gotta be Aliens 3.
See, that's that's the bit that I knew you were gonna. Well, I knew from the thumbnail that you were gonna stick a dagger in my heart, because we both love Alien. We both think Aliens is one of the great all-time answers to name a good sequel. It's very easy. You just whip it out and nobody argues because it's brilliant and it's a great sequel. We both have defended Alien 3 vehemently.
Yes.
I it didn't feel like things were going wrong for me in it. Massively in Alien Requiem, Resurrection. What was the Resurrection? Yeah, that's with crying sad alien eyes thing. Like it was a good sign that they'd gone far enough in a lot of ways, or that things were on shaky ground. So tell me, Paul, Alien 3, what gave you the I like this, but I'm worried?
So this is the thing. I watched this movie a lot, and the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that there's actually two versions of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the director's cut and then the original theater cut. Like, my problem is that they had to, like, they were trying to bring it back to kind of a excuse for the dog. They are trying to bring it back to a kind of minimalistic horror movie, minimalistic alien horror kind of thing, which they do fairly well, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that they in both movies they kind of start messing with kind of the aliens kind of evolutionary trends, and also, which is fine, but it's the start of what comes next, which is that's the part that
The Predalien,
not that
the
one,
Aliotor,
the Alienhuman.
Oh yes, good point.
But this is the turning point. It's not like, this is the part where the shaky ground is. This is, like, as I said, this is the movie that I was just like, yeah, it's an Alien 3 movie. It's an Alien movie. I enjoyed this, but the next one's got to be good to put me back into place, kind of thing. And did it fuck?
Well, you know what? I hate to do this. I'm going to flip flop and say I actually agree with you, but for a completely different reason than you've given. I was not worried, but it wasn't. It was neither a worry for me, because I liked Alien and Aliens, two very different movies in execution and tone, which is what I liked. Third movie, again, different in execution and tone with a through line. But if you'd said to me, we're going to make more, I would have, at the time, I would have said, no, there are no more Alien movies. Nah. You know, you've capped the trilogy with that third movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to stop. So I kind of agree with you that the fact that there were any more at all, bit of a worry to me. That's a worry. And I guess, so you're saying that's where your worry is. So I'm not going to steal this as your choice. Where's your point of no return? Because I'll tell you where my point of no return was. I think you already know.
It's Alien Resurrection. I've slammed it up on
Okay.
screen. Yeah, because this is my point. So the two things that make this the point of no return for me is they brought Ripley back.
Yeah.
And they decide to mess with the evolutionary even more. Like, to the point of kind of ridiculousness kind of thing, where you're like, that's my, like, if you take Alien Resurrection as a kind of middle, like, as a kind of separate film, it's like, or sorry, from script only, it probably sounds like a really cool movie to make. You know, it's, you know, you bring Ripley back and she's got alien powers, and you kind of go, oh, that's cool. So she's probably aggressive and strong and stuff, and then you turn a page and you're just like, hey, what's this baby alien thing doing here? Like, what's this thing thinking that Ripley is his mom, even though it's born from an alien queen? Like, why would we? I think it'd be, like, my thing is that I think it would have been better to kind of start doing a closer relationship between the queen and Ripley, instead of doing that. They've essentially crossed the kind of genetic barriers to each other. That could have been an interesting more, as in, like, is Ripley now a queen herself, but needs an actual xenomorph queen to build a hive, or is she just accepted into the hive? You know, kind of thing.
I think you've successfully brought me around on why I should have been worried at Alien 3. And yes, Alien 4, it jumped off a cliff. But just before we move on, will you indulge me for just 10 seconds to say, I hate the fact that we can't say Prometheus is the problem with everything, because I absolutely hate Prometheus. I probably dislike it more than Alien Resurrection. Not probably, I do. I think Prometheus is one of those films that I will never forgive. I was angry leaving the cinema. I'm angry that it's been allowed to keep being shown places. I'm never angry at people who love it, because you love what you love. I'm not going to judge you. But for me, it is a blot on the history of cinema for all the people involved who were just talented folks, and they shouldn't have had to endure it. I feel like it needs to apologize to its own cast and crew, for Christ's sakes. That's how much I hate Prometheus.
Well, this is
There you
well,
go.
well this like I agree, and this is my point. Is in pretty much after Alien Resurrection, there is no good Alien films. Like this is literally that after Alien, like as in after Aliens 3, there are no more films. It's like no more good films.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember Alien versus Predator well enough to know. Was it just a fun, stupid roller coaster?
It is, but the problem is that it's an
But it's not
Alien
good.
film. Like
Yeah,
it's like as in I really enjoyed the funness of it and stuff like that. I also really enjoyed the kind of trying to make Requiem, Alien versus
yeah.
P Requiem, a little bit more kind of serious and a little bit more action packed. Like I enjoyed them as stupid films, but as an Alien film, they decided to play with the formula a little bit too much, kind of thing. And also, don't forget that Alien is set in the future, whereas Alien versus P is set in the past. It's set in our time. So like,
Yeah,
it's kind
that's
of
true.
dances
Which was a
around
great
it.
excuse to get Lance Heinrichsen out there as not a bishop, as not a droid or anything. It's like, no, it's the real Lance Heinrichsen. But he's getting older looking. I'm gonna check out the comments if you want, Paul. Let's have a hop in and see what people, because I'm pretty sure people aren't going to be disagreeing with you, and if they are, they're nuts. Um, first time I saw Alien. Oh, sorry. First time I saw Alien was in secondary school movie club. Nearly shit myself. There you go.
Yeah,
That's an understandable reaction. I remember seeing it when I was way too young to see it as well. Um, awful, awful quotes on the poster. Yes, they really were the three threes and threes.
yeah.
But the comment I really I want to pull out here. I wonder if Seven was released before Alien 3. How different would it have been if Seven had come out and Fincher had the pull to do the, like, because the director's cut is much better than the
It is.
theatrical release for Alien 3. Now imagine if he hadn't had any interference at all and had all the support. There is an Alien 3 I'd like to see. So yeah, Seven would have changed a lot, I'd say, because he would have had all the heat in the world. In fact, he mightn't have been doing an Alien movie. He mightn't have been doing a sequel movie. So who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
I yeah,
Interesting comment though. Good call.
I'd be interested in knowing that. I do think that Alien 3, because it was also a Channel 4 production. I do think it was before his break with kind of Seven and stuff.
Oh god, yeah, yeah. He was doing music video and stuff back then, I think. Um, what's up next? I'm trying to think. All right, I was supposed to have my list open, but it's all
Well,
gone skewy for me.
which
Actually, how about we go for Jaws? How about we go for another fan favorite?
yeah, let's go for that. Can't dispute that.
I say fan favorite. I don't know, but it's a favorite with me. Um, Jaws is an easy one because everybody knows when Jaws went wrong, or at least they think they do. They all think that Jaws shouldn't have had any sequels, and I can test that. And the reason I argue against that is Jaws is one of my all-time favorite films. I think it's a masterpiece. Not everybody will agree, and that's cool. I happen to think that way. I don't think Jaws 2 is a bad movie at all. I think it's actually quite a good movie. And as far as not destroying a sequel, it's very hard to make Big Fish attack same people twice movie and actually have it be good. I'm not saying it's as good as the first. No, it's not. It's still not a bad bloody movie.
No,
I started getting worried though, thinking, I watched it as Jaws 3D, little colored bit where you put on your paper glasses thing. I watched it in period. To say that, and it was only for parts of it, remember, to say that Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D, as I knew it, was something I was worried about as far as where it goes is an understatement. Going, oh no, oh no, this is going to make this just a parody franchise. But in fairness to them, at least they didn't try and make it a relative of the original Shark or anything too much. They did try and have some continuity, but all they really did was go, well, SeaWorld is popular, and we can do SeaWorld with Jaws. So let's do that. And 3D is popular. Let's throw that in as well. Also, it's the third movie. This title writes itself. Hyphen the D on there. Give them the colored sweet wrapper glasses. It was the one that worried me, but I was not put off the Jaws franchise. until I saw Jaws: The Revenge, and I saw Michael Caine was going to be in a Jaws movie. I'm like, this will be some high art killer fish movie. Paul, you've seen Jaws: The Revenge, the fourth one, right?
I have.
I don't know if you have it handy there, but that other image that I gave you, if you can
Yeah.
throw it up, I'm going to spoil this for everybody. I'm going to tell you one of the things that happens at the end of Jaws: The Revenge. So cover your ears if you want one of the worst films ever made ruined for you.
Sell us.
Yeah, I know. In Jaws: The Revenge, this is supposed to be a shark that is attacking the people who killed its. I know, it was a grand uncle, second cousin twice removed. It's still angry at the Brody family and wants to get them back. So of course, what you do is you get out there, you get in a boat, and you make sure you're out there to sort it all out. And because they couldn't get any of the decent, real, original cast, and by that I mean Roy Scheider, they did manage to get enough people, and Michael Caine, who has famously said he hates this movie, but he loves the house that it paid for, to kill the shark in a new way, magically ramming a massive sailboat type thing into it and spearing it while it is perfectly jumping out of the water in front of them. If you can't hear why that is the biggest indictment of this film, you have not been listening, folks. I should have not been so hard on Promethean.
It's like
Or Prometheus.
It's like they were just like, yeah, heard of this jumping the shark thing? We should stop it just before it jumps the shark, right? Right? And it's just like someone probably just went, no, jumping the shark isn't bad. Never mind, you've already written into the script.
You know, if the Fonz hadn't tried to jump that feckin' shark, the phrase would be spearing the shark, and they would be talking about this movie. Ooh. Spearing the shark with the boat that makes no fucking sense. Anybody out there who's seen this, please comment down below if you love it, because I want to go to your house and I want to talk to you because you're now the most interesting person I've ever heard of.
I do enjoy that the poster, like, it goes, Jaws the Revenge. This time it's personal. Like, someone was in the cinema and saw an action film and was just like, that's a great line. I love that line. I need to use that line. And then next thing they were just like, yeah, so we're thinking of doing a Jaws kind of film again. And they just went, I got a line for you. And they just went, well, that's now the entire film. Like,
it's and like, I'm so glad you have the poster up there, actually, because I want to give it that old man in the sea kind of vibe that they were going for, where, you know, she's standing bravely with her spear. But even then, they've still kind of foreshadowed in their own poster. Look at the little toothpick on the front of this, and look where it's headed straight for the big Jaws, who's conveniently going to jump up and skewer himself. I think Jaws: The Revenge should have been called Jaws, the shark that needs some help. It's crying out. It's looking for attention. No one's actually taking time. In the end, it tops itself. Like, not to make light of anything serious, but my God, this movie. Watch it, folks. 5-star review. You'll never see another one like it.
I do. You gave me the picture of the shark, and
yeah,
my God, man, when I saw that, I was just like, I was confused between it being a really bad sock puppet and CGI, or a really bad CGI like thing. So
look, I'll forgive bad special effects, but I will not forgive, this time it's personal, ancestral shark attacking other people and then conveniently trying to write your story into getting people out on a boat that's really ill-equipped for it, and the only way to kill it is not just ram into it with a boat, make sure that it jumps high enough out of the water because of the type of boat that it is and catches itself on the one pointy thing we have. There has never been a more contrived ending to a monster movie in the history of time. I'm going on record. Ooh. And I saw the last Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, whichever came first.
I saw that as well. Finally seen it. We'll discuss it later on. So quickly, just into the comments. The shark looks like it's reused from those old Godzilla movies. There you go, pop culture. Which goes, is Revenge the one where a guy on a jet ski jumps into the shark's mouth, or am I thinking of something completely different?
No, you're thinking of that isn't it. I don't think, though. Brody should have thought of that, the fool.
Is
Are they
that
jumping straight into the shark's mouth?
the Meg, or is that
I
Meg,
think that's the.
or
Or is
what's
that like?
Deep
Yeah.
Blue Sea?
It,
Deep Blue Sea?
I think it might be the Meg. I
Yeah.
think it might be the Meg, but yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those.
Right.
What have you got that's better, Paul? What? Because I've just realized the problem with doing this is it makes me sad. I'm talking about franchises I love and how they go and just completely slide down the side of the toilet bowl.
I'm gonna do Star Trek.
No, that'll be safe. I don't love that at all.
So yeah, Star Trek. Star Trek. So this is including Star Trek the original. This is the movies now, the movie franchise. So this is the original crew, the crew of the Next Generation, and then the crew of the original but in a new timeline. Kind of thing.
Yeah, that was
So
really well explained.
um,
The Abrams crew. Yeah.
yeah. So now this is an interesting one. Star Trek has 2 points of no return, and two turning points and 2 points of no return. And so it's going to be this is going to be an interesting one because the reasoning behind this is because that they changed the cast. So they changed these are the reasons why they kind of change into the new kind of eras. So so Star Trek the original crew, the turning point, the moment which I was just like, something's going wrong here. The Final Frontier.
I can understand. I can understand.
That is, if no one knows about that one, that is the one about God, essentially. Which goes, I actually have to pull up the because I think I may have not done this right. So 1 second. Oh, okay.
Well, while you're doing that, I will say, folks, anybody who hasn't watched all the Trek movies, they're of varying quality, good and bad, and good and bad, and good and bad, and good and bad. But overall, Trek as a franchise with all its storied history and the TV shows, which are also good and bad, depending on which show you're talking about. But I think it's really interesting, Paul, that you're doing the treatment twice, because I think that's only fair when it comes to Star Trek. And yeah, I think Final Frontier would have been the first time I would have started thinking, ooh, maybe 5 films is enough for this group.
Yeah, this is my thing. I was because I watched these relatively young, and I loved sci-fi, and I was probably a lot less opinionated than I am now. So I kind of like loved a lot of stuff. I watched this one and just went, "Was that about God?" Like, as a small child, just went, "What's this?" Because that's
Yeah,
weird, isn't it?
yeah, and bear in mind that we're talking about a franchise with people going back in time to pick up whales to talk to other things that sound like they could be whales with no sense of actual interpretation of what's being said. And Paul, we've talked about that on the channel before. How fun it is that they're like, that sounds like whale song. Let's go get a whale. Whereas it could have just been a fart noise to the whale, and the whale could have been talking back, going, "Why did they bring me into the future to hear a fart noise?" Anyway,
Yeah, like, see, that's the thing. Yeah, because they had this, like, they did have a lot more interesting kind of stories. Like this was I guess kind of like a stretch too far of kind of the cool stories. And then I'm guessing that they tried to pull back a lot because the point of no return for me is definitely Undiscovered Country for the
oh,
original cast. Because
eh,
it feels like they pulled back too much.
I hear what you're saying.
You
I,
know?
d- I hate to say it, but like you knew I was going to be emotional about this one before you started saying it, I guess. But yeah, I can't argue with you. I think I can't argue with you. It
Like,
just makes me sad.
you're coming from essentially stories of like explore, like, what is it, Voyager coming back as part of a technological race of people coming back home. That's like, it's the first one, I think. Like, you're talking about whales, a huge big cylinder thing going to destroy the worlds because there's no whales. Which is, as you said, time travel, like, birds of prey, the Wrath of Khan. Like, you have these great ones. Then you have
Yeah.
then you have the one that goes a little too far, and you're kind of going, "Ooh, this is getting a bit to the weird thing." So they pull back, and they're just like, "Here is a geopolitical, like, storyline that is literally probably just an extended episode of Star Trek itself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I'm going to show my bias by saying that's the thing. I like the high concept sci-fi that they tried in, Jesus, everything after the first movie, all the way up until this, I guess. They tried different sci-fi concepts, and I'm cool with that. And yeah, I do hear what you're saying. I just think that whole piece, The Undiscovered Country, I just really enjoyed this movie. I still do. And that's why I don't think you're wrong. I just wish you were.
like
if that makes any sense.
no, because I was looking this up. I was trying to figure out why I thought this was the point of no return for the original crew, and yeah, they break a lot of rules. So
Mm,
and it's not like a clever ruse.
mm,
So
yeah,
they break a lot of their own, like the Vulcan, I can't remember, Lara or something, like breaks most of the Vulcan rules that they have. They decide to like make technology, like, which is okay to me, but they make technologies in a kind of like such a mundane way that you're kind of just like, why didn't they just? It's because it's the
yeah.
bird of prey that
Like,
can fly without decloaking. You're
yeah,
just like, why didn't the Klingons just build tons of these? Like that seems like a really cool, you know.
yeah. Well, it's that whole we made one like, yeah. Again, this is the thing. I know you're right. So what I'm saying is, I know you're right. I wish you weren't. Please go on and
Okay,
assassinate some other part of the franchise that I love less.
well, this is the thing. So they go on to the next generation crew. So the and I really enjoyed it. It kind of brought refreshment into the thing. But man, Star Trek Insurrection, that's the turning point for me. As in, it's not the point of no return, it's the turning point for me. That is a film, before Patrick gets it, that is a film
It's the worst.
about plastic surgery, like people who are addicted to plastic surgery trying to steal a planet from people who just live forever.
Yep. It's the worst. It's the worst of all of the movies, original, Next Generation, or JJ cast. Like it's the worst. It's just the worst. It's the worst.
See,
There you go.
to
It's the
me,
worst.
this is the turning point. I was just like, "Ooh, this is getting bad. This is getting
This
really
isn't your
bad."
point of no return. What's
No,
the point of no return?
it's Nemesis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think Nemesis was anywhere near as bad as Insurrection.
See, my problem was that they essentially reused the storyline from the Borg storyline, which is Locutus, essentially
Mm.
cloning Picard, and
Yeah, a
then
very young, thin Tom Hardy.
yeah, which is yeah, like that's like Tom Hardy is essentially a clone of Picard, and so having some kind of like, and then it's just it gets it gets real bad in the sense of kind of it's a reused storyline from Next Generation, and on the top of that, they really go into kind of like, hey, Deus Ex Machina device here, which is
Yeah.
just, like, as in, like, the Genesis bomb was really big enough, but man, this weird kind of particle weapon thing that just destroys everything. And then they also killed off Data.
And
So
how did they reboot the franchise then with with Australian man whose name I forgot. Uh, God, Bana, Eric
oh
Bana.
yeah, Eric Bana, yeah. So this is
Again, let's rip time a new hole, again, or let's split universes. They did have a well that they liked going back to. Um, but yeah, I have to ask Paul, because again, I'm not going to disagree. This is your choice, and I'm not going to sully it. But if you had to choose which is the worst movie, Insurrection or Nemesis, have we rated our Star Trek movies?
no, we have.
Let's
Oh,
do that.
I think
Not
we
right
did.
now,
We
but let's
may.
do that.
I think we did for the original one.
Well, maybe.
We'll check.
Let's do it for the crack at some stage. Yeah. So have you got a third round of this
No, that's it.
for
No,
the
like,
JJs?
my thing is that
Because
if you have to reboot an entire series by essentially rewriting time, I enjoy the new Star Trek films. I really do, but it like watching those films is that they're Star Trek soft, they're Star Trek light
yeah,
kind of thing. As in they've really kind of had to, like, as I said, reboot a franchise completely, or reboot a
and
timeline to.
And I was happy to go with it up to the point that first movie, yeah, I'm like, okay, I see what you've done here. At least this way you're separating it so that you can't ruin anything that previously existed. So you're off in your own spur. That's a good way of protecting all the stuff that everybody loves that they'll lose their mind over, which I think is cool. Second movie, oh, he's not Khan, he's not Khan, he's not Khan. Oh, yeah, Cumberbatch is Khan. Hey, spoiler. And then that third one, Beyond, I was like, whoa, this is a weird dirt bikes in space thing that is starting to feel very just insurrection-y and Nemesis-y. It was cack. I didn't like it. I know I'm in the minority because a lot of people like Beyond. Actually, did you enjoy Beyond? Because a lot of Trek people do. I didn't.
I enjoyed it, but it is once again in the series of kind of me going, this isn't Star Trek. Like
Yeah,
it's a really cool, nice, like lens flary kind of thing, but no.
Well, I was kind of glad it was the last one they did. I know they're trying, they've announced another one, but they didn't tell any of the people who are going to be acting in it apparently because they announced it at the investors call recently, and everybody who's supposed to be in the cast and signed up was like, nobody told us. So they're about to get paid a whole lot of money so that somebody can have said something nice in an investor call. But yeah, I would have been happy enough to go, yeah, there's no more of those either. Let's do something new with Trek. But yeah, Paul, I want to disagree with everything you've said, yet I cannot. To you, sir, I say touche.
Is the Picard series, like, just to say that season 2 is now out? I've really enjoyed it. I haven't watched the new episodes yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So
it's the best thing since Voyager. Best thing since Voyager, easily.
Cool. So which way would you like to go to your next one?
Oh, pick whichever is closest at hand. Well, we do a bit of Superman, keep it nostalgic.
Go for it.
Yeah, again, folks, I'll speed this one along. Anybody who's seen the original Superman film, the Donner, Richard Donner, not Keanu Reeves, Christopher Reeves. Gee, curse, I haven't done that for years. It was. I'm not a Superman guy. Everybody knows that about me. Superman's not necessarily my thing. When I was little, Superman's everybody's thing. So I was into it. And I'm into Gene Hackman being a kind of cartoonishly bad kind of Lex Luthor. There was a lot to love in this. It was the right amount of silly. It was the right amount of saccharine sweet. It was the right amount of Superman. I really enjoyed it. I thought they got off to a flying start. Pun intended. Second movie. Well, what I'm going to say here. Zod is as famous as Superman for a lot of people because of the second movie. You've got some good stuff going on there. Now, Paul, where did it start to go wrong? I think it's going to be obvious. It started to go wrong in the third movie, but plot twist, I don't hate the third movie because I happen to love Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor was in it. It's a mess of a film, but I was the right age to just forgive it anything because it's like, hey, a Superman movie, hey, Richard Pryor, I love him, he's a hero, yay, hero, more of a hero to me than Superman was. So I finally got to see a superhero movie with one of my heroes in it, which was great. Doesn't mean it's a good movie, but it is the one where I started worrying. Maybe they've done enough. Maybe this might be time to hang up the cape. Might be time to throw the crystal of whatever, I'm trying to remember what the hell his crystals are because they're not Kybers, they're the other crystal.
Kryptonite?
He's got the Crystal Palace, whatever that was.
Oh, the
Solitude the Fortress of Solitude. Yeah. Like, again, Superman 3, not a good movie by anybody's measurement. I just got worried, but I wasn't like, never make another one because this is just the worst. Then they made another one and it's just the worst. Atomic Man, Nuclear Man, whatever they actually called him. I think they called him Nuclear Man. It was dripping with, we're not at the races as a writer's room. And then that was handed to people who were not interested as a production team. And even, bless him, Christopher Reeves I don't even think he could muster enough interest to kind of go, I'll pull this off. The fact that they got Gene Hackman to show up is testament to Gene Hackman will just about give his all in anything. And I think he stands out as somebody who is still trying when everything else was just falling apart. The dude from Attack of the Nerds and 2.5 Men, whose name is escaped me right now, he's in it playing like an early proto nerdy punk teen.
Charlie
John, what's his name? John Cryer, I think.
Cryer. Yeah.
Like he's even in it. It's bad. And it's cemented. And there was not another film for like, I think it's 19 or 20 years till they did the Brandon Routh reboot. There's a reason. You don't stop making Superman films when you're able to make money out of them, because Superman, like, what a franchise. You don't want to put that and leave it on the shelf. There's cash waiting. People will watch Superman. They made a film bad enough that everybody went, ooh, let's maybe leave it a couple of generations so that the next people that see Superman don't remember that this ever happened. And thankfully that's what they did.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, oh yeah, Superman Returns is my Superman kind of thing, and I've heard that there's four more. I'm gonna go back and watch this, and they get to kind of look at it in the eyes of people who are looking into the past and looking at past movies kind of thing, which is fine, because then you kind of get a kind of like, I guess it's a weird side glance of movies, because you go, it's a different time, so you could get through all four kind of going, yeah, they get more ridiculous as you go on, but so does a lot of things. You know, but when you're like living through it and kind of invested in the franchise, it's kind of just like, ugh.
Yeah. Again, Superman. I wish him well. It's been a tough recovery ever since that movie, because they've never quite pulled back up for me. But gosh, it'll go down in cinema history as you had all the best will in the world after what was a very difficult, great start that you pulled off, because it's a hell of a thing to try and pull off Superman. The fact that they did it, and then Christopher Reeve's time is bookended by, wow, that's really good, to, wow, let's hope nobody ever sees this. Yep. So sad. Anyway, what you got that can get us away from the caped disaster that was Superman 4, The Quest for Peace?
Well, we actually don't have a large amount of time, so I was going to go to your last one, because.
Well, do you want to quickly mention yours? Because you've one more. You can mention it, and look, we'll do quick on my last one as well, because I'm not tied to it.
Cool. So yeah, so the Terminator franchise, we all love this. Everybody knows it. Terminator 2, fantastic. The point of turning. Terminator 3.
Yeah, easy. I completely agree. Yep. We did not compare notes beforehand, but I know you well enough to know that you're going to say Terminator 3.
Terminator 3 is the point of no return, or the turning point, and then the nail in the coffin, which I enjoyed, but I definitely knew it was the nail in the coffin, was Salvation.
Yeah. There you go. It's not wrong. Completely agreed.
It's not
wrong. I completely agree.
Like, Dark Fate is at least bringing it back. Like, it's possibly making me more interested in the franchise again. But who knows what they're going to do with that kind of thing. Or it's just a outlier after the, it's a little heartbeat noise. As the body dies kind of thing.
For me, I lost my interest in a franchise that I love the first one, much like Aliens. The other stock answer, great sequel, Terminator 2. Terminator 3, awful. And yeah, Salvation was where I thought, okay, enough. Let's not beat this any harder than it has to be. Paul, before we jump then to my last pick, which I'm assuming you want to do because it's also maybe one of your picks, I want to do some of the quick honorable mentions that we didn't cover. Like Jurassic Park, I feel that it lost its way and jumped its shark, but I'm hoping that maybe the next one might pull it back up. One that didn't get talked about is Transformers. And I think Transformers is the greatest example of something that should never have been able to be made into a movie. And then they pulled it off. And then it goes kind of south from there. But at one point you're like, they're just Transformers movies. How bad can they get? Then they made the one where it was like a King Arthur Transformer thing. And it is my perfect example of point of no return. They can make another 50 Transformer movies. I'll never watch any of them. I just won't, because now I'm like, I've been burnt too hard. So are we going to hit Die Hard, or not Die Hard, X-Men?
Yes.
Very fast for Paul. We can probably say this in unison. The Last Stand was a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
So X3, bit of a worry.
Yeah.
And then I gotta say it, X-Men Apocalypse, because I thought the Vaughn films, so the First Class and Days of Future Past, I'm into it. You've got me going. X-Men's doing good. It's all happy. Then you tell me Oscar Isaac's going to play what is one of my favorite villains in kind of comic book history. Apocalypse, great actor, great, great everything, and it's awful.
Yep.
It's when I knew that they were just doing them. I watched it and I was like, they're just making them. And since then, I haven't been able to be excited by anything to do with X-Men that's come out. And they've even had one since, Dark Phoenix. I did watch it. I barely watched it.
No.
That's how much it jumped the shark for me. It was the point of no return. I love X-Men. I was like, I'm not really interested. I'm going to need some time, and I'm going to need a Logan level of good movie that's actually an X-Men movie for me to be back on the bus.
Couldn't agree more. Like, Last Stand is the shaky ground one, and then Apocalypse is the nail in the coffin kind of thing. So
what went so wrong with Apocalypse? Like, do you understand? Because it defies all description as to how they could have that much talent and output that level of cack.
no, they just didn't. They didn't know how to use Apocalypse. Apocalypse is essentially on the levels of Darkseid or which is Thanos.
Yeah,
kind of thing
Thanos. There you go. Yeah.
Within the X-Men kind of franchise, he is literally the biggest baddie that they go against. Like, they have several comic book storylines where he literally owns the world, and he's turned 4 of the most powerful X-Men into his 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, and then you have this film where it's just like, oh, he can slightly grow big, and he steals powers, and it's just like, no, you don't understand. Apocalypse is the patriarch of the mutant gene. Like,
yeah,
that's where it all comes from. He is the first, like, you know, he doesn't steal powers. He just has them. You know,
it's all terrible, and people take the mick out of Olivia Munn for being in it. I think Olivia Munn's a talented person. That movie, Michael Fassbender couldn't save it. Nobody could save that movie. It was just like everybody was getting a paycheck and nobody cared. It is the epitome of point of no return for me. So I'm glad we left it to last.
The only good part of it is literally just the Quicksilver scene again. It's just like once again it's that's money in the bank for them. Everybody enjoyed the first Quicksilver scene of running around the kitchen so much that they had to do a second one, and
do it again.
And they couldn't fail. Like, they couldn't fail in it just because they were just like, here's where we can kind of break out from the kind of seriousness and kind of things and just be a little bit funny and show some of it. It's just like, I just want to point out, Pop Culture said, wow, I'm shocked that Indy wasn't mentioned. Funny enough, Crystal Skull is not the point of no return for Indiana Jones. It's just not. We can we can talk it through as a good Indiana Jones movie. It's just that we didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just the worst Indiana Jones movie. It would be, when they make another one, we'll be able to do this and go, Crystal Skull was the oh no, and then the next one is the I'm done. So it's the worry, but it's maybe not the point of no return. So Paul, sorry, I talked a lot this episode, and I think that's maybe why we've gone long.
No, it's good. We chose some kind of interesting ones that I think a lot of audience had some kind of opinion over, which is great. So, but so if there's any other franchises and stuff like that you would like to discuss with us about the point of no return, so there's we do the point of no return, and then the turning point and the point of no return kind of thing. If there's any ones that you want to discuss it, get into the socials right down there, which is, you can see the tag for Twitter, which goes you can discuss with us more on Indiana Jones or anything like that. We'd be happy to do it. Or if you got if you're watching the VOD, get down into the comments. We always read them and we get onto them as well. And of course, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, and all that kind of jazz. Thank you very much for the likes that you've done so far on this live show. So
you've been awesome.
And we got the admin out of the way.
Yeah, and I think we might do our shout outs real quick. So Pop Culture 33, we shouted you out earlier. Everybody get over there. New video. It Takes Two podcast. Recently got a chance to listen back to the one that they got to do at a live. Got to hear some of that. Didn't get time to listen to it all. Fair play, good stuff. Always nice to hear somebody getting out and doing it outside a studio. A lot of fun. And then, of course, there's Homebrew Quest, where you can see Paul and a bunch of very merry people battle their way through Why They're Merry, which is trying to do D&D while sipping alcoholic beverages, you bold people. They're all adults, just in case anybody's worried.
Yeah.
Wondering. Check out Homebrew Quest. Great bunch of talented people having a lot of fun with D&D and drinks. Paul, I would like to say thanks to you. I would also like to say, folks, do exactly what Paul said. All that social stuff, and hit us our likes, shares, and subscribes. But we'd love to hear some more good ideas from you. Just any ideas you have, comment down below. We're interested in doing some user-generated stuff, so that we can talk about other people's ideas at as much length as we talk about our own.
Yep. So I've been Paul.
I've been Patrick.
And we've been here at Sight. Thanks very much, guys.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. And I'll stop playing with the pencil now.
Picking conductor.
Yes. Bye.